Hello everyone, here for your literacy lesson on Wednesday the 6th of January. So today we're going to be continuing our learning to do with a persuasive advert, and we're going to be really digging into what is a rhetorical question and how do we use them. So to warm up our brain this morning, get your pen and your paper. If you don't have that already, just pause the video now, go get them and then come back. Once you do have those, we're going to head on over to our worksheet. So let me just share my screen with you so that you can see. And we're going to get straight into our warm-up activity. So our warm-up activity this morning is to do with adding punctuation to identify whether we think each of these is a statement or a question. So for example, the first one there says, "Is your mum a good cook?" That to me sounds like a question that you would have to answer. So I'm going to draw a question mark on that one. What is your favourite subject? Again, I think, oh, that needs an answer, so it must be a question. I'm going to draw a question mark. So I'd like you to pause the video, write out each of those sentences and add a full stop if it's a statement or a question mark if you think it is a question. When you're ready, you can unpause the video to see my answers. Okay, hopefully you've now written out each of those sentences with the correct punctuation. Let's quickly go through the answers. My birthday is tomorrow. Doesn't require an answer, so that is a statement, so I'm going to put a full stop. The sun is shining today. I don't need an answer, so it is a full stop. Have you been to Spain before? Well, that needs an answer, so it's a question, so I put a question mark. I like playing tennis. That's a statement. How tall are you? That needs an answer, so let's put a question mark. What is your favourite hobby? That definitely needs an answer, so I need a question mark. Can you play a musical instrument? Question. And last but not least, my jumper has a hole in it. I hope you're not asking for an answer because that is a statement and needs a full stop. So we're going to be looking at rhetorical questions today. So I explained yesterday that a rhetorical question is a question that doesn't really need an answer. It's sort of said just so that you think about it. And there's three ways that we use our rhetorical questions that we're going to be using in our persuasive adverts. So the first way is to stop and encourage somebody to think and reflect on what you've said, to really make them go, okay, I think so. So we tend to put them at the beginning of our persuasive advert, because we want to draw them in, we want to hook them in. So they might use a rhetorical question such as, are you bored of the same old games? Do you want healthy, shiny looking hair? Who doesn't want a stress-free life? Those are questions that we use at the start of our persuasive advert so that somebody hears them and goes, oh, I want to know more because that applies to me. So we can use our our rhetorical questions to hook in the reader, make them want to read on to find out more. The next place we can use rhetorical questions is when we want to emphasize a point. So if I've just said, this toy will solve all of your boredom problems, and then I use a rhetorical question such as, sounds amazing, right? Or that would be great, wouldn't it? What happens then is I'm emphasizing my point. I'm really making you think about the point that I just made. This toy will solve all of your problems. That would be great, wouldn't it? And now you're thinking, oh, yes, that would be great. I need a toy that will solve all my problems. And the third way that we can use rhetorical questions is at the end of our persuasive advert. So we use them to conclude, to kind of wrap up our advert and try to convince somebody to buy it. So now we're trying to definitely sell them on the product. Do we really need to tell you twice? Will you let this bargain pass you by? How will you live with yourself if you don't buy this product? So it's at the end to make them go, oh, yeah, I need to go and do something about it. I need to go and buy that product. So we've got three ways that we use them. We're going to use them at the beginning to hook in the reader. We're going to use them throughout to emphasize our points. And we're going to use rhetorical questions at the end to sort of get them to act on it, to buy the product that we've been telling them about. Okay? So just remembering that a rhetorical question doesn't need an answer. It just needs to make you think about what the person has said. So rhetorical questions often begin in the same way. So you've got words like, are you living a boring life and want to go on an exotic adventure? We've got things like, do you, why not, who doesn't, wouldn't it be, and who can deny? Those are all ways that we start rhetorical questions. So we could say something like, wouldn't it be great if you could never do homework again? Who doesn't want to go to the park and roll around in the mud? Why not buy this coffee maker and have the greatest cup of coffee of your life? So they're really there to pose a question, to make them think about it. So we're going to use these sentence starters to write some rhetorical questions today. And we're going to be thinking about a product that we're going to try to sell using rhetorical questions. So let me show you. We're going to be looking at first a toothbrush, and then we're going to be looking at one that we're going to be doing as a class together. So the first rhetorical question example I have for you, let's see which one sounds better. Which question is more effective? Do you like this electric toothbrush? Or are you tired of having to use a handheld toothbrush day after day? Which one sounds more appropriate? Which one sounds more effective? Have a think. Hopefully you thought as I did, and it would be this one here. Are you tired of having to use a handheld toothbrush day after day? It really makes me think about, oh, every day doing the same boring old thing. It's great language. What about this one? Do you want a bright smile that will last all day long? Or do you want clean teeth? Which one do you think is better? You might have said, as I did, that this one is better. Do you want a bright smile that will last all day long? Because I could use clean. They both mean the same thing, that I could clean my teeth. However, that bright makes me think of a really beautiful white smile, okay? So it's that really beautiful noun phrase, a bright smile, that emphasizes the rhetorical question. And last but not least, let's see which one you think is more effective. Wouldn't an electric toothbrush be easier? Or wouldn't it be fantastic to achieve that with no effort at all? Have a think. Which one is better as a rhetorical question? Well, hopefully you said, as I did, that this one would be more effective. It's more effective because it says no effort, whereas the other question says easier. Both mean the same thing. But the idea of no effort is a stronger, more powerful descriptive word than just saying easier. So it's that powerful language in a rhetorical question, the kind of language that makes me picture what you want me to see, that really makes a good rhetorical question. So we're going to use this knowledge that rhetorical questions should have powerful language and should start with something like wouldn't it, or are you, or how amazing would it be, something like that. And we're going to use that to now write out some rhetorical questions together. So let's have a look at our product. This here is a coffee maker. So a coffee maker is a kind of product, and if I'm selling a coffee maker and I want to come up with a persuasive advert, I need to think to myself, what problems does somebody who doesn't have a coffee maker face? What challenges might they struggle with? So I'd like you to pause the video now, and I'd like you to write down maybe one or two things that you think, if you don't have a coffee maker, why is that a problem? Let me start you off. For me, I have to get out all the ingredients. I have to get out the milk. I have to get out the coffee. I have to get out the cup. I have to get out the spoon to stir it. It's such an effort to make a cup of coffee. So can you write down at least one other problem that you might face if you don't have a coffee maker? When you're ready to move on, come back and unpause the video. Okay, let's move into thinking about how would a coffee maker solve those problems? What is great about a coffee maker? What are the fantastic features that I want to show off? So we're going to be thinking, what problems did I have? So if the problem is, well, it takes a lot of effort to make a cup of coffee, well, the solution, the feature that the coffee maker has is that it instantly makes coffee with a push of a button. So could you write down maybe one or two solutions that the coffee maker provides? Don't worry if you're struggling to think of some, just have your best go, and when you're ready to go through the answers with me, come back to the video and press play. Okay, so let's have a discussion about what rhetorical questions we could make using our problems and solutions. Hopefully you came up with some of the problems that I came up with. So the problems that I thought of was, it's so boring waiting for the kettle to boil. It takes so much time for a kettle to boil, it's tiring. It takes effort to make it, you know, to get out the coffee, to get out the milk, to mix it all up, and it's really hard to get the perfect cup of coffee because you might accidentally put in too much milk, or you might not, like the kettle might not have fully boiled, so it's not really hot. It's a bit tricky. And then for the solutions, what did I think? Well, I thought if those are the problems, then the solutions I could have is, well, it makes coffee instantly. You just have to click one button and it does it for me. And I get the perfect coffee every single time. And all of your teachers and probably your parents can tell you a good cup of coffee is a fantastic thing to have. So really, this is a product we would want to buy. So we want to think about rhetorical questions that we could come up with that might solve this problem. So let's have a look at some of the ones that I thought of. So maybe my rhetorical question could be, do you wish you could make the perfect cup of coffee every time? What about this one? Do you hate having to make your own coffee every morning? So I picked two problems and I simply used some of the language. Do you hate? I could have said, are you tired of waiting for the kettle to boil? Doesn't it suck when you have to stand around waiting for the perfect cup of coffee? Isn't it frustrating when you can't get the perfect cup of coffee every single time? You can also pick some of the solutions. So I could have said, who doesn't wake up longing for a tasty cup of coffee to start their day? You hopefully might notice, what did I include in these questions to make them more powerful? Let's see if you can spot it. I said a perfect cup every time. I used the word hate. Do you hate having to make your own coffee? And I said, who doesn't wake up longing for a tasty coffee? So I've used really lovely noun phrases and adjectives to really emphasize my point, okay, that it's really really brings to mind those pictures of what I'm wanting. It's almost like I could taste that delicious coffee already. So I'd like you to pause the video now and have a go at writing maybe just one or two rhetorical questions that you've come up with using the problems and solutions that we have on the board. What else can you come up with? At the end of the day, your teacher might ask you this afternoon to share some of your rhetorical questions, or please, if you could put them on Seesaw, we would really appreciate that. When you're ready for the next activity, come back and press play. Okay, hopefully you've had a great time writing out some rhetorical questions using some very elaborative language, really exciting language. So we're going to have a go now, and I'm going to hand it more over to you. So we're looking now at a new product. This one's going to be a bit more your turn. I'm going to help you with some of the problems and solutions, but I'd like you to really think for yourself and come up with the problems and solutions by yourself. So we've got a smoothie maker. A smoothie maker makes delicious, nutritious drinks using a variety of fruits and vegetables, and it's helpful for making breakfast on the go. So let's have a think about some problems and solutions. So I'd like you to pause the video. Oh, actually, no, let me show you mine first and then you can pause the video. So the first problem I came up with was that it comes with the same old breakfast. Maybe I need a smoothie maker because I'm tired of having toast. Toast is boring. I would like something more exciting. So maybe that could be a problem. Maybe a solution could be then it makes loads of nutritious and healthy breakfast drinks. So I'd like you to pause the video now, and if you could please come up with some of the problems that you face if you don't have a smoothie maker, and some of the solutions that you get when you do have a smoothie maker. When you're ready for the activity, please come back and press play. Okay, hopefully you've been able to come up with some problems that you face if you don't have a smoothie maker. Here are some more to think about. It could be that breakfast takes a lot of time and effort to make, and that drinks can be really boring, like a glass of milk is pretty boring. A glass of water doesn't taste that great. And a smoothie maker provides solutions, including takes seconds to make a healthy smoothie, and you can have breakfast on the go. You could grab your breakfast and drink it on your way to school or to work, as opposed to having to sit down and eat your breakfast in one go. So we've got lots of problems and solutions. So your task for the rest of the lesson today is to come up with at least 5 or 6 rhetorical questions that you could put in an advert selling a smoothie maker. If you're feeling particularly confident with this, I would like you to think about writing them as a pair. A pair type of rhetorical questions are 2 rhetorical questions that go side by side. The first rhetorical question presents a problem, and the second rhetorical question presents a solution. So let's have a look at the example here. Do you struggle to put a smile on your teacher's face? Okay, it's a rhetorical question showing me the problem, struggling to put a smile. And then straight after that, we have another rhetorical question saying, wouldn't it be fantastic if you could see them beaming all day long? So if you're feeling confident, can you match up some rhetorical questions that identify a problem and then some rhetorical questions that identify the solution? Please take photos and upload them onto Seesaw so that we can read all of your creative, persuasive rhetorical questions. And I will see you tomorrow for our next literacy lesson. Have a lovely, lovely day. Bye.